Good evening. Keeps up the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here. I am here. I am sick, and we're getting through this because we were talking to Mike Beckerman or Mike Becker. We all just call him Beckerman. But we have a full house of suspects. So before the start of the moment, we have making his suspects debut, Digger Jim. How you doing, sir?
Good. Glad to be on.
And we got the wayward child who wanders in once in a while and blesses us with his presence. We have the one, the only White Shadow, Mr. Chip Gettler. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. How are you doing today?
I am excellent. And of course, we have the legend himself, Nick's Kix and Comix.
Who shaved, by the way? Who shaved? Look at that.
Well, right. And man of the hour, the guy we are all here to learn more about, Mike Becker. How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, wait a minute. I thought I was here to learn more about Digger Jim. Was that last week or the week before?
You know what? Switch him out. Let him take over. I feel like I'm surrounded in like a big old casserole of macaroni and cheese because these are all macaroni and cheese people with me tonight. Because everybody loves macaroni and cheese, and everybody should love every one of these people.
Oh, you know what's funny?
Wow, they start sucking up already.
They just actually opened up a restaurant by me called I Love Macaroni and Cheese.
Who did?
Right in my neighborhood.
Really?
Oh wow. I would love that restaurant.
Right? I do love macaroni and cheese.
I'll send you the menu.
So a little brisket in it. I'm set.
For those who don't know you, like we're going to have people in the chat that are here because they know you and love you. But for those who are going to...
I don't have a following, so no, there won't be.
He has an incredible YouTube video content and,
Right? So much content, you can't get through it in a day. Not even
in Austin. They're tearing it up.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that I'm even lazier than Austin because he has... I think he has a post on Instagram, right? He has Instagram posts?
He does.
Oh,
he does.
That guy just reeks of effort.
In the community. So how did you get involved in the community?
I became aware of all of this when I was at a Clayton Crane signing.
Ooh.
And I met Panda, who many of you probably know. I know everybody in the panel knows Panda.
Yes.
He's a really friendly guy. He was standing next to me, and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And he immediately screamed in my face, "Do you know who this man is?" and pointed at Steve Berkland of Burke Family 54 Comics. I did not know who he was, but I started talking to those guys. Carlito was with them, and Mike V. And Steve told me to check out his YouTube channel. He had just hit like 1,000 at that time. And I was like, yeah, maybe I will. And I kind of forgot about it for a few months. And then I saw him pop up in a Kansas City group I'm in, and he shared one of his videos. And I was like, oh, that guy. And I started watching his videos, and I became a supporter, paid that monthly deal, and became a member of the Burke fam. And I just started meeting people from there.
So that first crane sighting last year was
the first Topeka one.
Okay.
So there were two signings at Lunatics. I was at the one that Dan Blue Hellion was not at.
Okay.
I was at the first one. And that's where I got my Clayton Crane sketches.
And then you became a regular guest star on a bunch of other channels without making
I just
yourself.
kind of mainly because of Chip Gettler having no standards.
I had
Well, that's why he appears on my show, Mike.
Because you have no standards too. What the hell?
He's a major guest star in my heart.
Oh,
right.
Please.
Hey, we're all of us have been touched by the Mr. Special Chip Gettler, and not in that kind of way.
Hey! That was between us, Digger or Gary. And Digger. Nick can tell everyone.
So, Mike, how long have you been collecting comics? Has it been a lifelong thing, or did you get into it at a certain age?
So I bought my first comic in 1989, and I started reading them off the spinner racks after that. But I didn't have a pull list until probably late 90 because it was hard. The town I lived in only had one comic book shop, and it was downtown, which was a little harder to get to. It was kind of far from my house, and I would have been like 10 in 89. So by 90, I was able to finagle my mom. Like, it wasn't just a flash in the pan. I'm really into these things. Please take me to a real comic shop. And we would go once a week to pick up my pole on Saturdays.
Nice.
Nice. And did you start out with a huge pull list, or did you just get a couple at first?
My original pull list was Thor, Hulk, shortly after I started collecting, a couple of number ones came out. So New Warriors #1, Darkhawk #1, X-Force #1. I came in at the very end of New Mutants.
Yeah.
I think Avengers West Coast. Yeah, Avengers West Coast, because my first comic book was an Avengers Spotlight #21.
Nice. The Hawkeye series.
Yeah, the Hawkeye series.
Or the Ant-Man series, depending on how you look at it.
Oh, true. Now.
No, you're thinking Marvel Spotlight, Nick.
Yes.
Avengers Spotlight was always Hawkeye.
It was
and
always
somebody
Hawkeye.
else.
I
Yeah.
am thinking Marvel Spotlight.
Now, when did you start getting favorite characters? So you always like the Hulk, you always like Thor. Most people like Spider-Man on here or Batman, but you like kind of like the Asgardian characters.
I don't know why Spider-Man didn't really. Oh, Fantastic Four would have been another one I started on my original poll too. Part of it's because of a compendium, which I've never been able to find since. But my first introduction to comic books was at the library. They didn't have like the trade paperbacks that they do now at libraries, but they had this one big compendium with a lot of like early Marvel storylines. That Daredevil versus Namor fight was in there. Fantastic Four #25 that crossed over in the Avengers.
Fantastic Four back then was so good too.
Was it a compendium or was it a trade?
It was like a big hardcover book.
Right.
It was huge. I remember like it took up my entire lap. So maybe I was just really small at the time.
No, I mean they used to. Yeah, I remember going to the library but it was all like early Fantastic Four. At least my library had like a book, a hardcover book.
I know it had Avengers #4 in it. I know it had the crossover between Thing and Hulk, the big fight, FF25,
right.
and then Avengers, whatever. What else was in there? Iron Man. There was an old Iron Man story too.
There were a couple of trades, like the first 2 or 3 Marvel trades there were something called Bring on the Bad Guys, Son of Origins, and those classic battles were in there. So I wonder if they maybe compiled or compended.
Yeah,
they
might have.
I'd love to find that book. That thing, I checked it out so many times.
Yeah, that was. I know that my library had several different ones, so I know what you're talking about. I just can't place what it was called.
Now, what character was it that first drew you to comics? I mean, was it the art, or did you just read the story and get hooked from the story? Like, what really?
I think I remember buying Avengers Spotlight because it was the one with the lowest number. Low numbers meant a lot to me back then, but I would forego it to grab characters that looked interesting to me. Thor appealed to me because I really liked mythology.
Yeah, he would have been probably in what, the 200s by then, or actually
over 300.
Yeah, over 300 by then for sure.
And I think that's what always drove me off of Spider-Man, because I think Web of Spider-Man mildly intrigued me, but it was already in the 50s or 60s by then.
Right.
And I can tell you around that time, because I started getting back as my lights flash off and on. Around that same time, New Warriors came, and it was ASM 347.
Mm-hmm.
Around that time.
That sounds about right.
And I remember picking up New Warriors was on my pull list, and I read that religiously. I loved that title. I had me hooked from Firestar and Nova. Those are two of my favorite characters.
Oh, Vance. I loved everybody, really. Maybe Nita might have been my least favorite.
See, I liked her a lot too.
She grew on me, but I didn't like how arrogant she was. And from that compendium, I had kind of a grudge on Namor. So the association was like, oh, I know you. Like, you're one of those pretentious underwater people.
Wasn't that, well, it couldn't have been the first, but what was her name? Silhouette?
Yep, that was
Silhouette.
The first
So
Silhouette.
she debuted in issue 2.
And she was she wasn't the first, well, I guess paraplegic, right? It's that type of thing.
Oh, no. That kid from the Exterminators would have preceded her, Charles Xavier.
But I don't count him. I mean,
But
he's not going on missions, man. She was going on missions. She was
Wiz
like
Kid
badass.
from Exterminators would have. And what about the Wheels from Wolfpack?
See, I didn't think about that.
I can do this all day, guys.
Yeah, but you know what? I think what drew for me and John, I don't know about John, but maybe. I like the art and he liked the story. Are you more of a story or are you a balance of both? Because I'm about the art and he's about the story.
So I probably lean more story because to me, a great writer can save bad art, but a great artist can't save a terrible plot line for me.
Right.
Which is very ironic to hear you say because of what your wall. And
I was getting ready to say, so you should just send me all that stuff behind you then. You don't need it. I'll send you a couple of books of really good classic
New
novels.
Warriors related art.
You can just send me books of that art. You don't need that. That's sure.
Now, with New Warriors, that's when I became a big Speedball fan too, because I didn't really know the character until then. Speedball was awesome.
Yes, he is.
What a silly character. And then you read him, and it's just pure joy.
But like he had relatable problems, especially in New Warriors. They kind of toned. They showed that yes, he makes stupid jokes, but behind it all, he's a really insecure. He was the youngest warrior at 14, which his force field costume hit his age. I think he comes out to the team as a 14-year-old and whenever they go to South America, so right around issue 7, maybe.
Yeah.
And 14, I mean, parents, what are you doing? Really?
Well, his parents were always fighting and they were terrible to each other.
Right.
I thought Fabian did a great job of taking the foundation Ditko laid and then, which was so Ditko's 10 issues of Speedball are just steeped in his own personal beliefs. And then Fabian took the base of it and said, all right, we're going to brush off some of this objectivism and philosophy, and we're going to get to the core of it. Right. Here you have a kid whose parents clearly don't get along. They're probably headed towards divorce. This is what it's doing to their son. I thought it was great.
Right.
Well, talking about storylines, what's your favorite storyline in comics? The one that you can revisit all the time?
So probably it's my first major storyline that ever really grabbed me and let me know how invested I could be in these, pictures. I might get this wrong. New Warriors number 25, I'm going to guess, but it might be 23. It's where Vance Astrovik accidentally kills his dad.
Yeah.
And you find out more about it later on, but his dad from issue 1 and actually predating New Warriors, he had an abusive father. That was, for those of you who don't know who Vance Astrovik is, he's Marvel Boy. He later becomes Justice. He's actually a character from an old Guardians of the Galaxy storyline where Vance Astro is back in time and tries to warn a younger version of himself to never go to space because it's been nothing but trouble for him. And by doing so, he creates a divergent timeline, and it wakes up a latent telekinetic power in his younger self.
Right.
And that kid basically becomes a mutant named Vance Astrovik, and he later becomes Marvel Boy. But he pals around with the Thing for a little bit. And the reason why he runs off with the Thing is because his dad is anti-mutant and is abusive towards him, physically abusive. And so that kind of is where this all picks up in New Warriors. When his dad finds out he's been superheroing, he continually, like, it builds over several issues.
Right.
Really, it starts in issue 1, and by the 20s, it's bad. And he finally, he had been beaten really bad in a fight, and his dad was being terrible to him again. He struck his mom, then he went to hit him, and Vance screamed never again, and he unleashes this blast, and he ends up killing his dad and being tried for murder.
Now, speaking of divergent timelines, see, Jim, what happened in Doctor Strange was
Get him. Get him.
Now, what
Excuse me for a
about
minute.
his Major Victory persona? Were you a fan of that too?
Yeah, I liked all the Jim Valentino. That was a book I got on. Actually, my first issue of that was the one where the Ghost Rider from that year is on the cover. It was kind of a minor key for a minute
Mm-hmm.
when people were into the Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Mm.
I think it's issue 13. I bought that, and then I went back and got the back issues. And then kept on it from there. That got bad towards the end, though.
Right.
Him to me, and basically that whole team between Angelica Jones and Vance Astro, Namorita, and the original Nova, Richard Rider, just such underused characters in the Marvel universe.
And they keep killing them all off.
Well, they went into Avengers for a while there, right?
Vance and Angelica Jones did.
Yeah.
Firestar and Justice.
Right.
So, Gary, you're telling me you can't get enough Dick Rider?
Nova's like the only one who made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they made him super, like, godlike powerful almost. Supreme Nova.
He's how Namorita came back.
And I love their romance in the New Warriors too.
That was great. It made her lighten up.
Right.
And when her appearance changed, I really thought they did that well.
Yeah, I was kind of mad at her again by that point because that was after the Poison Memories storyline where she betrayed the team. Well, not inadvertently. She slept with that guy because her and Nova had a fight. And it turns out he roofied her. And while she, after they had hooked up, he went in through her stuff and found her like personal Rolodex that had all the numbers for the New Warriors.
Right.
And he was able to figure out their identities and attack their families.
Rolodex with secret identity.
Right? Oh, only back then, right now.
I was gonna say there were
There was a guy named Hindsight Lad.
What are they going to do next? You know, create a vigilante who rides a skateboard?
That's crazy.
You know, it was no more crazier than a Silver Surfer, though.
Yeah.
You know, just. But Nightcrawler was always kind of a tool. Like, it was hard to get behind him. He always had too much of a chip on his shoulder. He was like Namor in that aspect, where he was just a little too arrogant sometimes.
His skateboard was always so baffling because not only was it bulletproof, but it also contained a switchblade, which putting a switchblade inside of a skateboard is kind of like putting a hat on top of another hat.
What about I was trying to remember how this played out. Was Rage ever a part of that group?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, wasn't it towards the end though?
No.
He was that was his first appearance. He was in what? The first he appeared the first 15
New Warriors had a crossover with Avengers while Rage was still an Avenger.
Right.
It was that demon that possessed some guy and started a race riot.
Okay.
So that's how the New Warriors met Rage. Then when they needed to go to Vietnam, Cambodia, to combat Ty. They asked Rage for a favor to steal them a Quinjet. Rage did it, and then in turn got kicked off the Avengers and joined the New Warriors.
Yeah, that'll do it. You can't be stealing stuff. No, sir. Yeah. So getting back to the art, because you have so many, is there a piece or a great story that you have that out of all of them? I mean, like, you know, I was able to pick this up because somebody knew somebody and this would have never been in my lap type scenario or anything like that. Because I've always, you know, sometimes it's not, I mean, creators don't always just want to give up their stuff.
No, you're kind of all over the place. So I'm trying to think, like, are you asking what my favorite piece is?
Well, I mean, there's a favorite piece, sure, but is there one that has like a cool story behind it that, you know, you might have?
I wish I had it near me, but I do not, because it's actually starting to fade.
Is it?
And I try not to take it out very often. My first piece I got from Jim Lee. It's a pencil bust of Wonder Woman, and I got it on a backer board, and it was free.
Nice.
And I got it in 2001 at my first con. Up to that point, I had no idea art collecting was a thing. I didn't know you could ask creators for sketches. I didn't know it was a thing until I went to this con. I had sent a page out to my buddies. Yeah, that's right, Nick, a page. And we were all going to meet at in like near the lobby of the convention center near the door. And when I got there, Jim Lee was posted up just like literally on a post.
Sure.
And he had just paused to somehow he got a loose chair from somewhere and he was just sitting and sketching for people. And I was like, so what's going on here? And somebody's like, well, that's Jim Lee and he's sketching. And I was like, can anybody get in this? And then they're like, yeah, you just have to ask him. And I was like, can I please get one, sir? And he's like, yeah, what do you want? And I said, Wonder Woman.
Nice. Yeah, a buddy of mine.
Wonder Woman.
A buddy of mine got. We were at Baltimore Con, and he went up to Eric Larson and was like, "Hey, can I get a Spider-Man sketch?" The guy he drew it in like 2 minutes and just handed it right to him and said, "Have a good day."
Wow.
And that'd be impossible now. I mean, that'd be the sketch he got would have been like $50.
Yeah. Yeah, now everything's a big buck.
Yeah.
Now, is that what started you down your art road, though? Is that one meeting with Jim Lee?
Yeah. And so I think that was the only thing I got at that con. And then the next year, I bought a Green Lantern sketch off of Martin Odell.
Nice.
Co-creator of the Alan Scott Green Lantern. And then I don't know. At that point, I was really hunting back issues, and a lot of my money was going to that at cons. Because I didn't trust eBay really back then, because you had to do like money orders and stuff. I hated doing that. So I preferred to just get my hunting done at cons. It was probably maybe 2006 5 maybe. I'm thinking of the age of some of my sketches. Then I got more into it, but I passed up some great opportunities because like I didn't think any of that stuff should cost more than $50.
Yeah.
So it kind of took me out of the pages, because back then pages, like good ones, at least ones you'd want, were in the 100 and up.
Right.
100 to like 300 range. I remember passing on a Jim Lee X-Men page because it was $150.
By the way,
see, that's a great story.
By the way, Jim Lee remark, $460.
Yeah, I have 2 of his quick sketches for free. My wife got me one too. Bless her heart.
On a quick aside, hey Nick,
Spidey,
you need your Spidey. Now, you keep mentioning cons. When did you start when did you go to your first con, and was it just something you did ever since then? You just loved the experience and kept going?
So when I went to my first con, Wizard World Chicago, back when they still had a magazine, and it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
I then went, my group of friends did Chicago every year. And then in 2006, we went to our first San Diego.
Whoa, you've been to San Diego?
Oh, no, that wasn't 06. 07, 08, 09. 07, 08, 09. We went to San Diego. And then it got to the point where we were having to jam too many people in a hotel room to make it make fiscal sense.
Yeah.
And we just kind of I was getting past the point where it was appetizing to me to like be in the same room as 4 other dudes.
Right.
Like, no thanks.
Right.
I'm just gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appetizing. I use that word.
Absolutely. That's probably like the biggest con around, right? San Diego.
Yeah. That really opened my eyes.
See, it sounds like you have what we didn't have, right?
Yeah.
All of us, we didn't have the comic people in our lives that we talk to all the time. It seems like you were always surrounded by friends.
I had a crew,
and
then Brother John was talking about this earlier. CBR message boards.
Yeah.
I met people through there, and I would meet them at cons.
Oh wow.
But San Diego, I got so starstruck there. Like, Chicago was big, but not that big.
Yeah.
You know, that's like its own little city.
Wow.
And it's so expansive, and everybody's there. It's not just a matter of checking off who your list is the guest list, because everybody's worth stopping to see. And I creeped Bob Odenkirk out in a bathroom. Sorry, Bob. If Bob ever hears this, I apologize.
So you weren't okay with a room with 4 other guys, but you could stop a guy in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I didn't stop him. I just stared at him way more than you'd want me to while at a urinal. And he visibly turned. Okay, I can't believe I'm going to tell this. I got really embarrassed about this one.
Let's hear it.
Let's go for it.
So I was at the urinal, and I look over, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's Bob Odenkirk from Mr. Show." Like, I was a big Mr. Show fan, and I just kept staring at him. I don't know why. What a magoo. And he finally turns and he's like, "Listen, I'll take a picture with you or whatever, but can you like wait till we're done in here?" And I was like, yeah, sure, man. Oh, what a nerd.
He's like, "Man, I just wanted to take a piss, for Christ's sake."
Right.
Saul Goodman, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing yet.
So I remember on, I don't remember if it was on the Banter. You were talking about something about one time you were you were in a movie.
Okay, so my friends and I were Chicago adjacent.
Yeah. And
actually, I think it was from the CBR boards is how we heard about it, but it might have been somewhere else. I know that my buddy Drew was the one that got the info on it, because we rode in his sister's car, and we all went to Chicago, and we stood in line and got to be extras in The Dark Knight Returns.
Nice.
So yeah, when the funeral procession gets blowed up, you can see I think it's the top of my head, but I could be wrong. But our buddy Jason Stanton, he was about 6'11"-ish.
Yeah.
And you can see his face in the crowd, and there's this little Brillo pad
next to him.
in about a 3/4 of a second.
Now, did you have to run for that? Because I know you're anti-running or anything like that.
I remember we got $20 in lunch, or it was $10 in lunch. And the lunch was like just this little box of like a sandwich and chips, and a bottle of water.
That's extra, but it was work.
I mean, so that year I saw Heath Ledger and Christian Bale at Wizard World Chicago because they showed up at a panel. They some of the producers were doing a panel for Dark Knight Returns and talking Batman Begins. It was awesome.
Nice.
I didn't get into the panel, so I'm out by the fountain at the Donald E. Stevens that's outside of the panels, but still inside. So I'm just sitting there waiting for my friends that were able to make it in, and just camped out and waiting for them to get out. And all of a sudden, security guards and come by, and in the middle of them are Heath Ledger and Christian Bale. And they started high-fiving everybody, so I got to like high-five them as they went in.
That's
awesome.
cool.
Nice.
And Christian Bale didn't even yell at you, huh?
He had just murdered a sound gaff guy, and he had been sated.
Lord.
So you've been going to cons for quite some time. Have you seen a big shift in the time that you've been going, where it becomes more about comics? Now it's becoming more about entertainment.
I've watched the rise of the cosplayer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That used to be a very fringe group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now it's become a very active part of the scene.
Yeah.
And I've seen the death of vendors.
Yeah.
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 It used to be what, about 80-20, 90-10, and now it's flipping.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it at Galaxy Con. John and I did. There weren't any vendors.
Yeah.
But there were a ton of cosplayers.
Yeah.
They were
you think
everywhere.
you're going to go there and look through back issues and stuff forever, right?
I remember Sunday. So I would spend my first 2 days at Where's World Chicago scoping out the booths for Sunday.
Yeah.
I would make little notations of which booth numbers had the books I wanted.
Right.
And then you would go back on Sunday, and suddenly the $5 bins were $2 bins, the dollar bins were 50-cent bins, and the 50-cent bins were quarter bins. And I would start rummaging through. I would even try to figure out which bins had the one, like I had a little system, but I would always forget my codes. So like I couldn't read my own writing. It was more trouble than it was worth.
Yeah.
All right. So we know artwork, we know comics. What else do you collect? What else are you collecting out there?
Oh, art, comics. I have a few toys. I have some Hero Clicks from like 10 years ago. Other than that, this is about it. Isn't this enough?
It is enough.
It is.
It's never enough, man. It's never enough.
Never, ever enough.
So what's your favorite era of comics to collect, Mike?
That was,
What now?
What's your favorite era of comics to collect?
Oh, I'll always be partial to the 90s, but I love it all. I have a weird DC rule that for my DC books, I didn't go before 1970, but now I'm really regretting it, and I'm starting to break the rule a little bit.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of good stuff out there. Now, are you a big back issue bin diver?
Yes. I love bin diving.
Like in there for the hours, just looking and looking?
Yeah.
Did you have any great find you ever got? Like you pulled something out and you got
Oh,
it?
yeah. I've had several. All of a sudden, my phone turned on. Oh, it's because Remy's thing. I had it on pause, and then they must have ended the stream.
Yeah, they just ended it. They're actually in the room now, in here.
Impromptu guest appearance by Remy Q and Angel.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I'm a professional. Yeah, man. I've had some good scores over the years. None that are coming to mind right now. I found, recently at a vintage stock sale, I found a First Echo in the $2 bin, but it was half off day, so it was $1.
Nice.
Didn't you get a collection last year or something?
I bought a collection last summer, mainly Spider-Man stuff, which I don't know. Maybe now I collect Spider-Man.
They weren't terrible books either, man. They were pretty
No,
nice.
I got issue like 82 right up to where Hobgoblin appears. Like,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
That whole run?
yeah,
Yeah. For $5, Nick. $5.
for $250.
I'm sorry, $250.
Even then.
Yeah. No, I was
Pretty
pleased
much
with it.
$5, Nick.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
much
good.
$5. Yeah. Yeah. So you have and we're gonna break off from comics a little bit. I know when we get into some of these things, we start talking sports. Have you always been a KC fan?
No. I like sports if I can go to them.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge. I mean, there's some stuff I can't watch baseball on TV.
Oh, me neither.
anymore.
Me neither.
I used to be like I always loved the Cubs. I grew up a Cubs fan. Then they got rid of all the players I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
But
we didn't
living
have
here. I have this Royal shirt because it's super comfy and I can get to the stadium in like 15 minutes.
Well, that's what I was getting to say.
It's cheap as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. See, we didn't have a pro baseball team growing up, but we had the what is it? The one right below it. What is that? Triple A.
Yeah.
And we had the AAA for the Braves. So we had, John and I got to see who was it? Derek Justice.
David
Is that
Justice.
right? David Justice. Yeah, David Justice and all those guys that came up through that farm system, man, they had to play there. And so that was as close as we got as far as pro baseball. And I had to go see it. I could not, I had to be there. I can't watch it on TV.
Hockey games are the best live.
Right. So out of all the sports, which one do you favor the most that you like to, football, baseball?
I think we lost it.
You cut out for a second.
Oh, out of all the sports, which one do you like to watch the most?
Football. I like football.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I
grew up a Bears fan. 2012 broke me.
I think it broke a lot of us, man.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning ripped my heart out of my chest.
Yeah.
Downtown it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So now we go to Chiefs games. I've got a buddy that has season tickets.
Right.
Look at that.
Yeah, he's big time. He's big time.
Marcus just walks in like royalty.
Yeah.
We ready?
Him and that mustache.
I mean, the guy's got like 150 to 200 signature series slabs. He's got sweet life money.
Yeah.
He does. I feel like knowing him has opened a lot of doors for me. I was nothing in Kansas City, and then I met him, and it was like the world was my oyster.
Now, speaking of meeting in Kansas City, you were in a pretty prominent place the whole weekend at Planet Comic-Con.
Yeah, I worked the 4C booth.
Now, have you made those inroads just basically by buying stuff and being a faithful customer, or do you have other ins, so to speak?
Well, so I met Ken Carson, who owns 4C Comics, when he was he just got into comic art maybe 5-6 years ago at the latest. I mean, and I just knew him from the groups, and then just got to messaging him. I don't think I bought anything from him really at first when I started the business.
Pardon me.
And even then, it was always mainly just we just talked a lot. And last year, when they did kind of a week Planet Comic Con in August with what they could put together, he was like, "Hey, I'm bringing Bill Morrison out." We got to talk, and I was like, "Oh, I'll go out to dinner with you guys. I'll take you out to dinner." We did that. I picked him up at the airport. Just got to know him a little better. And then when this one came around, I had already met Nick by this point, and I kind of had in my head, like whenever I start talking to somebody, I'll ask you like what your collector goals are, like what, and we were talking about art, and I was like, well, if you could, you know, if it wasn't about budget, it was just anybody doing a sketch for you, like who's your guy? And he said two people, JR and Scotty Young. And Ken got to me a few months ago and said, hey, nobody can know this yet, but I'm working a deal to bring JR to Planet Comic-Con, among others. But you live in Kansas City. I think Planet's going to be my first stop. I need people I can trust. Will you work the booth? I can pay you in trade. And I was like, I know already what I want. When he announced that they were going to do JR experiences, I was like, I will work for my buddy Nick.
Damn. One lucky SOB.
Yep.
So why doesn't Nick take the driver's seat? I don't want to tell his story, but he got this whole little package for JR.
Nice. And that's
it's not my night. I'm not on the hot seat, but it was one of the comic highlights of my collecting career.
Nice.
It was great to see Nick interact. Like, to me at this point, my biggest collecting highs have kind of came in. You know, I got my Grail years ago. That's X-Men #1, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I've been pretty blessed to get a lot of the books that I wanted. I've established really good runs. I own some really cool artwork. Now I kind of like helping people get to their goals. And if I can, I will, you know, and it's fun for me.
My goal is a 9/8 181 with a Marvel Captain Tack, please, for around $65 to $70.
I'll get to work on it immediately. Who has that I can go work for?
Yeah.
Does somebody have a booth that needs a runner?
Right.
Yep.
Dude, I love trading time for comics too. Like whenever I get that offer, I'm like, hell yes, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I got to work. I guess to get back to that con, I got to work Planet Comic-Con. Didn't get out of the booth too much. I spent most of my time there. I worked for Bill Morrison, if anybody knows who Bill is. Awesome guy. Worked for Bongo Comics for like 20 years. Drew a penis on a Little Mermaid poster. Was the art director of Futurama for the first 4 years. He's personal friends with Matt Groening. Used to go comic book hunting with Mark Hamill. The guy's got awesome stories.
Wow.
Super cool.
Wears awesome shirts also.
Yeah. Nick got to meet him. And then I did leave the booth to go watch Nick get to spend time with JR while he got a sketch from him and talk to him. And they're both from New York, so they mainly talked in vowels. Like they just
perfectly understood each other the whole time, right?
Yeah.
To those who know the Italian lingo, he called me a gavone. So that was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
It was great to watch.
Drew a penis on the Little Mermaid cover.
So he did it unintentionally, is his story, and I'm not gonna.
He just had penis on the brain.
I mean, aren't all towers kind of penis-like?
Yeah,
better on the brain and some other places on your body, Gary.
Right.
But now Bill's a sweetheart, and he takes that very well.
Yeah.
Now, are there any grails that you're chasing? I know you have an extensive collection, but
I would like to finish like runs like Fantastic Four, but I need some really expensive issues.
Right.
I'd like to finish Hulk. I've got some really expensive issues left. No, I'm fine with it. The market blew up, and I'm not bitter about it at all. Honestly, I was at like when I could see it was getting out of hand and staying out of hand, I was like, damn it, I really did think that someday I was going to have those issues, but the fact that I don't doesn't bother me. And
I made my peace with ones I'm not going to get now. So
yeah,
I mean, I'd rather see the industry doing well because at least the comics will be around.
You can think it's cheesy as hell to say, but honestly, watching like Nick have an awesome time with JR was just as good as any of the rushes I got from buying comic books. Like I had a lot of fun going down there to that.
Yeah.
And
I totally get that.
I also got to be JR's wine caddy. Like, I had to, so basically it was like high school. Nick, you saw it, right? I showed you guys. So
the guilty look on Mike's face at times was quite comical.
So I would like have to lift up the apron to our booth because obviously he's not supposed to be sneaking bottles of wine into the building. And I would pour it into a cup and then I would like hide it all and then I would bring it over to him. He called it his grape juice.
I got to do that a little bit with Jim Shooter when we had him up here at one of our things in Rochester. So, I got outside, I got to walk him in, and that guy's crazy, like tall. He's like Chewbacca tall.
Yeah.
And I'm like Oompa Loompa short. So it was I just, I looked like a pet next to him.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Shooter.
Shooter is a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's tall. He's getting up there now. He walks now. He's got the cane, but he was super nice and signed a couple books for me. And I've heard horror stories about him, but my experience with him was really good.
I've had nothing but positive interactions with him. Actually, Ken does Saturday. We haven't done it in a while, and I kind of left that group for Chip. Because who wouldn't look at that guy?
Hey.
But they would do a Saturday night Zoom call, and Jim Shooter like showed up 3 weekends in a row to it. And man, he said I could listen to that guy's stories for days.
Yeah. Yeah, I like listening to those guys. When he came to Baltimore, he told this story about what was it? The one it had to do with Spider-Man and Mary Jane getting married. He said something about I don't remember. It was something about Stan threw him underneath the bus about, somebody said, hey, when are you going to get Spider-Man, Mary Jane married? He's like, I'm not in charge of that. You got to talk to this guy. And everybody just started looking at him and he was like, fuck. So then he had to start thinking about that storyline.
Well, I know he had clashes with my favorite comic writer, and that was Roy Thomas.
Yeah.
Which I feel
Roy
like
Thomas
they
is
buried
an
that
icon.
hatchet though.
Yeah. But I watched
Can you
what I
excuse
find
me for 1
fascinating.
second? Because I want to show you something real quick.
Oh yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
As long as you keep your pants on, we're okay, Mike.
Yes, please.
Yeah, well, I'll try.
Oh, Jerry.
So, Nick, now you can spoil Dr. Strange for Jim.
All right, so
Yeah.
Jim, what happened in the middle of the movie was they really set this up, and it really blew my mind what happened. Who showed up?
Yeah.
In that post-credit scene,
Yeah.
But
It's
that's
Mephisto.
not only the first one, but the second one.
right?
It was a very good movie. I thought it was pretty good.
I'm seeing it tomorrow with the boy.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it.
Maniacs, so I can't wait to see it. And just Benedict Cumberbatch, just such great casting.
Let me ask you this.
All I
This
know,
is
she's
not
a badass.
giving away-
That's all I
this is
gotta
not
say.
giving away anything, Nick. Just tell me. Is it kind of like with Endgame where there's just so much going on that at some point maybe you have to see it again?
Oh,
I always feel that you have to go see most of these movies again.
Mm-hmm.
you missed so much.
This one in the case, because the first time you're not ready for what happens, so you
Okay.
can't really process.
Yeah.
So, but there were a lot of cool aspects.
How would you rank this with Raimi movies?
I'm not a big Raimi guy. But as far as his horror stuff goes, it's 100% a Raimi movie.
Nice. Because I was excited. Oh, all right. Let's get back to Beckerman.
I'm so sorry, guys. That was a
fine.
waste. I cannot find it. I know it's somewhere nearby, but so I have a blank that's got sketches on it from both Roy Thomas and Jim Shooter.
Ooh.
It may
And
not be
when I
as,
find it,
it may not be as nearby as you think.
oh, ho, ho, ho. Did you steal it from me, Nick? Because I'd be okay with it. I couldn't stay mad at you.
All right. Well, in that case, yeah, I'm coming by.
I know Nick's too adorable to stay mad at.
I know. Look at him. I can't stop.
Now,
I think that's
now, are you a big fan of the movies too, Mike? Do you go see them all?
Yeah, but I'm not in a rush to do it. I'm not in a rush to do anything. I'm pretty lazy. Anybody who's watched me walk knows I don't rush anywhere.
No, that's not true. I know he disappears pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Blends
Especially
in.
when I can tell where the night's going.
That sounds
I
like
didn't want
another
to drink
story,
anymore.
No comment.
It's like a poof, like that. He was gone.
right?
Mhm.
This might be a backstage talk.
yeah.
No,
All right,
everybody
so-
was pretty well behaved, at least while I was there.
Yeah.
And see, now I don't have to lie because I left early.
Are you going to any other cons this year?
Yes, I'm trying to go to Heroes, and I will be at C2E2.
Oh, okay. What day are you going
Hold
to
on.
C2E2? I'm going Saturday.
I'll go all. As
Actually-
far as I have to travel,
Yeah, you stay
Okay.
here. Yeah,
I'll just stay. Yeah.
I'll probably actually. I
I'll
don't
go
think
all
I'll probably
3
go on
days.
Friday. So I'll look for you. We'll connect up.
Yeah, I'll be there.
So what's your favorite thing about cons now as opposed to back then? Has anything about them gotten any better for you, or has it just been a gradual downhill for them?
Art hunting and relationships I've built. It's kind of cool. I gotta remember which one it was. I brought a friend of mine who had been into comics with us years ago and got out because of life and kids and
Sure.
a wife and all the reasons people have to leave comics. And he decides he got back into it, but had never been to a con. He didn't
Cool.
really stick with our group when we started going to cons. That was kind of around the time he disappeared. So he'd never been to one. I take him to C2E2 2019. His name's Dennis. And he said he felt like he felt like it was even better because I was there with him and kind of introducing them to people. We just kind of had a great time, but he was like, dude, how do you know everybody here? Like from the time we parked our car in the garage and walked into the hotel, I had met 3 different people I knew on the like to the trip through the
Right.
stairs and
Yeah.
down to the lobby. And I was like, because they're here every year.
Yeah.
Because I see them every
Yeah.
year. And actually, C2E2 is probably my favorite con because if you get their first guide, their first year where, the con book,
Mm-hmm.
and you flip over to their founders page, the first 100 people to buy tickets got their names in that book, and I'm one of them.
Oh, nice.
So I'm a
Nice.
C2E2 founder.
Very cool.
Sorry,
If you
my
make
throat is gone.
If you
So-
make it to Heroes Con, we will be there.
I probably won't just because family vacations the next week, but I'm really trying, guys. Marcus is going. I'd love to make the trip out with him.
Mhm.
Now, who are some of your favorite artists? You mentioned Derek Chu earlier. And
I like Derek
else
Chu.
really,
I like,
hits the note for you?
I like David Finch.
Oh yeah, he's really
Yeah.
good.
See, he draws
Look
me
at all
tonight.
that Finchiness.
I
I
love
love
how
the
he
Savage
draws me.
Avengers too. It was so good.
Is that the Century?
No, that is Forever Evil, issue 7, page 22. Alexander Luthor punching Lex Luthor. Earth 2 Lex versus Earth 3 Lex.
Marcus needs you in Charlotte.
I need to be needed by him in Charlotte.
You just gotta tell you just gotta tell your wife, you're like, look, I'm a popular guy, I gotta go.
Yeah, I feel like she's been understanding enough. She's a saint.
Marcus said if you guys shared a room, he's willing to be the little spoon.
Yeah.
That
I like that Luthor on Luthor.
yeah.
Now, do you have any original Derek Chu art as well, or no?
No, I wish. I was supposed to. Where the hell was I going to see him at? A con that got canceled due to COVID. Planet.
And I got his Thor #1 cover, and that thing is just so nice.
Oh, you bought the cover?
I got it. I won it from Comic Tom, and it came all the way from, of course, Africa. I went to Comic Tom, then I won it. It came to me. I sent it to get graded and got it in a 9.8 because it was a.
Oh,
Cosmic
so
Comics
you mean
exclusive.
the comic book, not the like original art?
No, not original art. I haven't met anyone really to get original art.
Do you collect any? So you don't have any like original pages?
I have a couple that have been gifted.
Nice.
You know, like I have. I have a local artist here, Ken Wheaton. That's really good. But as far as like actual pages of art, no. I have a local collector here named Mike, who just has books, the big collected volumes where he just puts the pages in. He's probably got 8 or 9 just art, just full. Those suckers are heavy, but they're packed with art.
Nice.
But you know, he'll sit there and he's got thousands and thousands of dollars in that art. But I don't think people don't realize how big it is either sometimes. Because he buys the pages though? And he has some original art. Because the regular proof pages are huge that he gets.
Do you collect sketches?
If I can get them, yeah. Like like I want to get a Mamad. Like I have a Mamad Azrar sketch cover, but it's not an original sketch. But I have like certain artists, like most of the artists I really connected with, like John Buscema. He isn't around anymore. Like an original Conan sketch from him would be incredible. But like my favorite like modern artist now is like Mamad Azrar, who I think is amazing. I don't know. There's a lot of goodness. Tony Daniels is really good, and just the guys that always put in a good, consistent. There's never like a half-ass page from them.
I'm surprised you don't like have a big old Red Sonja or Conan.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to have like a Frank Thorne, but he's no longer around either. And for Conan, I mean, Mamad Azrar is great. I have a book out getting graded that he personalized to me in Vienna. He was I don't know if you're familiar with him, Thorson, Varangian Vigilante. Mm-hmm. He was having breakfast or lunch with him, and he pulled out a book because Thorson told him about my channel, said I was a big Conan fan. He has the Italian version of it. It's just like to Gary B, Mamad Azrar.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's how getting graded.
That's awesome.
You know who else I think does good sketches and well, I mean, he had comics too, but of the sword and sorcery kind of stuff is Mike Grell. His warlord stuff, and I think he's pretty impressive.
Well, I mean, his warlord one went for 133 issues.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
But I've seen his sketches of like Conan and Red Sonja, and they're amazing. Like he's very talented.
That's why I got some books signed by him.
Well, see, I'm in Rochester, New York, so you don't really get to meet. I don't get to meet those people really.
Yeah.
Doesn't he live in New York State?
That I don't know. I've never looked him up.
You gotta get better at stalking these people, Gary.
Yeah.
I only
I guess I'm
know.
not that guy.
Well, he's repped by Catskill Comics. That's why I wonder, because a lot of Scott's clients live near him.
Mm.
I know, like Ramona Fraden lives in the Catskills. I don't know about Grell though.
So who's the one living artist now that you want to obtain that you haven't yet?
Who, me? Oh boy. Who is left on my list? I've checked most of them off, but I would really like a Pepe Larraz.
Hmm.
He's the last one I need for his year of the Marvel Young Guns. Sometimes I'll set myself with challenges, so I wanted to get all the Young Guns from like 2017.
Yeah.
I really liked that class. I got some of them. Actually, I got them all but Pepe right now.
Oh, very cool.
Wow.
Very good.
I tried. I've swung and missed several times at cons. He
judging by
takes
your
such a
wall, you'll hit
limited
him
list.
eventually. Now, what are you more proud of? Your wall of art or your comic collection?
I love it all equally.
Yeah. What do you get yelled at the most about?
Space.
Yeah.
Space?
That's what I was
we have
getting
3
ready to say.
bedrooms. I have fully taken over one of them and 2 closets, and then I also own a storage unit.
Mm.
Wow. Okay, that's real.
Yeah, the spread is real.
I get this one bare room here, and that's it. And it's starting to grow. And she said, "Well, you need to sell."
But
It's not going anywhere else.
when you do the math, though, I've been buying comics steadily since basically 1990, late 89.
Yeah.
It adds up, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, you're gonna go through some.
I
long
defend
boxes.
it to her all the time. I don't think I'm near as a hoarder as I could be if I didn't have restraint.
Yeah, I think mine just hit the point where I'm going to have to rent space to store some of it. So,
Right.
there's nothing. I have like maybe 5 long boxes of just Conan.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
And then
Jeez.
about the same of just Red Sonja. And then the rest of the collection. Like I have a whole long box of ROM. I have 2 short boxes of Micronauts. And just,
Jeez.
Brother John, my storage unit is the one next to the road with the parking lot and the trees.
Yeah, and the trees. Right. Dude, he lives in the middle of the planet. We're never gonna get out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have any collecting goals for 2022 that you haven't met yet?
I find if you set goals, you might not reach them.
So
My goal is to have a good time.
So yeah, he's experienced. He's deep. He's got all this stuff. That's awesome. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I agree. And
it's Remy.
Becker's the best. Yeah, I thought Remy was going to start crying there for what you sent him.
Oh yeah,
that was insane.
No.
Well, I had a Wrecking Crew page.
Yeah, but that's his jam. You know,
It is. And no one else's, and I can respect
Pretty
that as
much.
a new Warriors fan.
right?
Like, I mean, come on, the Wrecker's a dude with a crowbar.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that I had to let Mike know, because PlanetCon happened like right after that video, and I think I watched it in the hotel the night before, and I said, Mike, before all of the sarcasm starts, because there's going to be sarcasm.
He did say this.
I said, honestly, what you did for Emmy, awesome, fantastic. I said, you're one of the best. So
I'm really not.
You just broke everything. All right.
I guess my goal now for 2022 is to meet Chip Gettler in person. I got sick the last time I was supposed to see him. So.
Mike, very, very disappointing, Mike.
It is. It really is. Trust me. It's
completely
I'm a tool, man. Don't bother.
Completely underwhelming. I can tell you that much. By the way, Chip and I are going out for a double date later this night.
We are. Yes, we definitely are. My wife said pick a good place.
There you go. There you go. Well, I think the one thing that I've noticed.
By good, Wendy's is fine.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I noticed, and I'll say this 100 times over, my brother has way more. He can recall book knowledge way better than I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that with you and with Mark. I think if the three of you got in a room together, it would just be like you could debate so many different things, and
I think we would make a really good trivia team.
I would. You'd have to. It wouldn't even be fair. You'd have to spread it out.
Well, my first foray into comic book trivia was terrible. I got smoked.
Really?
Wizard World used to have this panel called "Smarter? Are you smarter than Mark Waid?" And I was not. He smoked my ass.
Wow.
I was one of the people selected to go up, and he is a comic book historian.
Okay.
It was humbling.
Wow.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't even challenge it. Wouldn't even try.
I also got to be on a panel with everybody's favorite Nick Spencer and CB Cebulski and Humberto Ramos at that 2019 C2E2 I took Dennis to. I got picked for. It's on a podcast. Marvel has it on their website.
All right.
If anybody ever wants to hear me sound like an idiot.
What we didn't cue. We should have queued that up there, Gary.
They were
first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah.
They were doing a Spider-Man the Hunted. I don't read Spider-Man, so
right.
Mm-hmm.
They did a Hunted with like NCAA. It was March, so they were doing like a March Madness.
Gotcha.
You got assigned a comic book villain that's based on an animal, and then you would have to go up against other people. So Nick Spencer was my partner, and the other guy got Humberto Ramos. I got assigned Toad, and it was not good.
Oh.
We were up against White Rabbit in the first round, and he basically just hid behind, like he got the crowd right away. He was like, "Oh, this is the year of the strong woman. And I got White Rabbit and blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Damn it!" the crowd was into it. I was like, "Well, Toad's a creepy stalker, so if she's a strong woman, he has taken down Jean Grey with chloroform." Like, what do I got? Toad's a creep, and he loses to everybody. Like,
right. You got basically a bum.
He's literally a toady.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Spider-Man and Frogman.
Oh, nice book, Nick. You know what I just got into was the Jackpot character. I read her 3-issue miniseries. I really enjoyed that. So I started picking up the first appearances. But no, as far as like the women, Black Cat's always, I think, going to be my number one Marvel.
Oh,
Black
the
Cat
guy who got Black Cat ended up working for Bleeding Cool.
Wow.
So,
really?
He actually chronicled the whole tournament, but he just coasted. He just showed up. Oh yeah, I got Black Cat. He basically had to say nothing.
Yeah.
And everybody voted for him.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Felicia Hardy, of course.
But it pissed me off because if you got past round one, so if you lost right away, you got a signed comic book that hadn't come out yet. It was due to come out in a few weeks. If you made it to round two, you got the comic book and an original piece of art from Humberto Ramos, which I already have one, but I will take another.
Right.
And it was just Spider-Man headshots, but still he charges like $200 for those. So
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And Toad screwed you up.
Toad.
Damn Toad.
Why would Toad even be an option?
Because it was an animal.
It was all
theme.
animal themed.
Yeah.
Now,
So many animals, though. Could have had tigress. Could have had white tiger. Could have had anything.
If I had not given up my spot with my Iowa Nice this and said, "Oh, you can go ahead and grab a card before me," I would have had the Lizard, which would have been a guarantee to the second round.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Well, we've gone for an hour and 10, so we'll start wrapping it up. Let us know in 2022, what is it you're looking forward to experience-wise in the comic community world?
Meet Chip Gettler.
There you go. He is our community angel.
Yeah.
Guys,
Just look at him.
you guys are
He's
just
so
set
majestic.
the bar so freaking low. I tell you, what the hell?
That'll be nice. I'll be looking forward to those pictures.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
No
we're gonna
doubt.
go around the horn, see what everyone's got going on. Mike, you get to say bye last. So, Digger Jim, what's going on with you on your channel, sir?
I don't really have anything going on right now. I'm going down to see my brother this weekend. We're probably going to be strategizing while we're down there talking Doctor Strange, but also I'm trying to come up with something for the two of us to collaborate together. Like we both read a book and then do a comparison on what we thought was good or bad, or several of them, or look at even an old run and say, okay, we're going to read that and then break it down and say, hey, what did you think? What did you not think? So that's something that's we're kicking about. That's where we're at
That
right
sounds
now.
Fun.
Yeah.
Brother against brother.
Right.
Nick, what you got coming up, buddy?
See, Jim, when you have that discussion with John, what you really want to touch on in Doctor Strange was the part where
It was pretty cool. That was a cool part.
that was a cool part. It really was a cool part.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I guess, catch me having breakfast with a whole bunch of my friends on the Legion of Comics community channel. And Thursdays, I'm with a guy called Ignacio who can draw lines pretty well, and we discuss some topics that may or may not be related to the title of the show or comic books or anything like that, but we have a good time. So that's Thursdays at noon Eastern on my channel.
Nice.
Mr. Gettler, what's coming up, buddy?
I've actually got a nice package of I got that too, but I mean,
Hey, take it easy, take it easy.
I ended up picked up a little grail of mine. So I'm going to be unboxing that. I'm waiting on a couple more to come in. That'll probably come in midweek next week. So I'll have that dropping. Banter on Saturdays. Everybody's welcome to join in. Come on in. Jump on camera. Let's hang out. Let's talk. And then I have another little Black Series review I'll be doing. So
Stop trying to get me to spend money, Chip. Stop
telling
it.
you. That's what I got.
And of course, coming up on my channel, I got Savage Saturday Comic Review on Saturday, of course. We have Chris the Comic Vet on the 10/11 on Tuesday. And then we have Ruby G, the Bearded Avenger, on the next In the Hot Seat with the Usual Suspects next Thursday.
Nice.
Yeah. And Beckerman, what's up with you, buddy?
What do you got going on your channel?
He's got a lot of content. He just needs time to put it in order.
Well, this
He's
week
overwhelmed.
We've got nothing, but next week we're ramping up for more nothing, and
We're deciding
a lot of
nothing after
nothing
that?
in the future. But I'll probably be hanging out with Chip on Saturday night if he actually shows up to his own channel.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll be there.
Freaking Hollywood.
Well, he's got that legendary status now where he doesn't even have to show up for his own gigs.
Let's Rob take it over for crying out loud.
Nice. I want to thank everyone in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We had a great time talking with Mike, getting to know him a little better, and hearing some behind the scenes with him and Nick, and the good time they had out there with John Romita Jr. Great stuff. But that's it for tonight, guys. Until next time. Awkward ending.